All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our June Talk About It Tuesday. We are excited to have a good friend of ours that has been an affiliate member with us now for a little while and offers a service that I know so many struggle with. We're not all accountants by trade. We're not all financially minded, but the good news is that we have friends that are. So with that, um, please join me in welcoming Brandy from Chamber Keepers. Good morning, Brandy.
Good morning, Paige. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. Thanks for being with us as an affiliate member and supporting the work that we do. And we got to meet you and your sister in Tuscaloosa last fall, and hopefully you're going to be back with us this fall
Yes, ma'am, we
in
are.
Daphne. So, with that, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this in the world of numbers.
Hmm. Um, I've been doing accounting since high school, very, very long time. I took my first accounting class when I was in high school, fell in love with it. I have a lot of family members who are entrepreneurs. I've seen their struggle trying to run businesses and not having the accounting background. So I grew up in a small town where community was a big deal. I mean, this was before Walmart's hit town. I remember when Walmart first came to our community, it was like, what are the small businesses going to do? So I went on to college and got my degree in accounting. We lived in Hoover, Alabama for a while. Shannon actually graduated from Berry High School. I think it's Hoover High School now. And my brother was actually a bat boy for the Birmingham Barons.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so we love Alabama. Um, and that's just kind of how it started when I got it my first internship at Cummins Diesel Engines. So I loved accounting and I loved manufacturing. And then I started realizing the role that big corporations can also play in our communities. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We can all play well together.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the fast pace. And then I took a job in Texas. So we are now in Texas. And I traveled the world helping people get their processes in place, make sure our accounting was, up to date for audits and everything. I was stationed in Canada for a year. That's where I met my husband. And they moved me back to Texas, and he couldn't live without me. So he begged for a transfer to move to Texas. That's my story. Don't ask him his.
Fair enough.
So, so we've been married for a while and I have twin boys. They are going to be 15 this summer. It's going by really fast.
God bless
So
you.
when I had my twins, I was like, I'm tired of the corporate world. I think I just want to focus on my love of small businesses. So I started doing bookkeeping for small businesses. Well, within that, one of my clients was a board member at a chamber and they needed a bookkeeper. And I was like, well, I don't know much about, I mean, I know who they are. They're pretty active in my hometown. So yeah, I'll try it. I fell in love with it. It was a perfect combination for me to do my accounting. They help small businesses. So by helping them, I was helping the people I really love. And you also have the corporations who, usually have the funds to kind of help fund these community things. And it all just kind of clicked for me. And then I realized, well, they have a really bookkeepers are hard to find now anyway. The accounting field is kind of being stretched thin. So it was like, this is where I can incorporate everything. And everybody was struggling to find bookkeepers. So I was like, well, let's just test it and see if this is really something people need. And we did, and it's been great. And it's honestly the best thing I've ever done. It's the people I love to be with. It's doing the career I love to do and helping people build communities. So that's how Chamber Keeper started.
That is awesome. We're going to put you on a billboard for Chambers. That I love that because you're right. It is the perfect intersection of all of it. So you kind of touched on that, of why Chambers and how it came to be. So I know that you've got a presentation for us, and just going to turn it over to you to kind of tell us a little bit more about kind of exactly what Chamber Keepers does and what services you provide specifically for chambers. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks. See if we can get this working. Okay, so who we are. We're a virtual bookkeeping company that specializes in chambers of commerce. And our accounting, the manufacturing background helps a lot because in manufacturing, you have to know how much it costs to make each widget every time, just like chambers of commerce need to know how much it costs them to put on events. So we're used to tracking cost and revenue based on your events. What we do, cleanup services, that is something I absolutely love to do. And everybody's always really shy about it. They're like, oh, my books are a mess. I'm like, no, the messier, the better. I love it. I love digging in there, trying to make order out of it, make it make sense, and get everybody to understand what money's coming in, what money's going out. So we do cleanup services. We do only work with QuickBooks Online. We'll do day-to-day bookkeeping. So after cleanup, if you need it, we'll switch over to bookkeeping unless I mean, we don't force you to do it. It's always up to you. We're very a la carte. This looks very different for every one of our chambers. Our bigger chambers usually just want us to do the transactions and reconciliations, and they take it from there. And then our smaller ones need us to do everything. So it's definitely a la carte, and we kind of price it by how much activity you have in your accounts, how many transactions you have. And then we also do financial reporting. We have monthly financial reports for your board presentations. All of them are kind of specialized. We do have a few that it's the same board report over and over, but every board wants to see something different. So we do that. We'll do financial analysis as long as we have the detail as to what's making up your costs, which we try to pull out of you if you don't give it to us, so that we can show you, okay, well, you've probably spent a little over on your venue for this event. You only budgeted so much and it kind of went over. And then we'll try to explain why that happened so you can explain it to the board. And then, of course, we do event and program profitability tracking, and you'll get those reports every month. So we keep up with every event and everything that's going on. So it's all part of your package from us if you choose to have that. So I know this is really hard to see. So this is kind of an example of our balance sheet. We don't give the board everything unless that's what they want. So we kind of just break it out to your cash accounts, your savings accounts, CDs and money market, and then your liabilities. We don't go through every single thing unless that's what they want. And we always compare it to your previous year. So you can see, because that's what the boards always want. They want comparisons to what's in the past. And then we have our profit and loss, and it's extremely high level. We break out your new member dues, renewal dues, non-dues revenue, investment revenue, and your event and program revenue. And then the expenses are the same. We kind of let them know how much is it costing you for your salaries and wages to have your employees, your operating expense, your event, and your program. And we try to make it just clean and simple, very high level for them to be able to see it. We compare it to your budget. And then we do this from month to date and year to date. And like I said, pretty much we have half of the chambers that use just this for their board. And then the other half, they're very specific in what they want. Some of them want the entire income statement and balance sheet. So we can customize it to whatever works for you. We also do KPIs. These are kind of the top 4 KPIs, but we have some that dig a little deeper, but these are the ones we feel are important to keep track of. So we keep track of your dues, non-dues, and your event revenue. And we kind of do that by percentage of your overall revenue. And then we can also look at member type. So are your lower tiers the one who are actually investing more money into your chamber, or is it really your higher tier? Just because they pay more dues doesn't mean they sponsor events. And so we kind of try to give you a bird's eye view of that. We also look at retention. We'll do it by an overall percentage. Getting member type percentages is a little tough. You have to really have good reporting to be able to do that, but we do have a few of them who look at retention by member type. And then, of course, we do expenses. We break that out by percentages also. How much is your expenses going towards operations? How much is employees? And how much is your event and programs? And then the biggest one we look at is, well, depends on who you ask, accounts receivable. Most people say the revenue is the biggest one, but if you're not getting the money in, then there's no revenue. So we always do a KPI to look at our 30, 60, and 90 days. And we can go further than that, but a lot of chambers kind of drop you off if you haven't paid by 90 days. And so we can do that by percentage of your total accounts receivable, or we'll do it by dollar. A lot of people don't like to kind of expose the dollar amounts on that, but we'll say, your 30 days is about 10% of your total accounts receivable. And then your 90 days is 50 or 60. And that's when we know, oh, we have a problem. We need to really, chime in on getting our money in. So this is part of it. Not everybody wants this type of detail, but it is something we offer. Um, and then how to work with us. So if you go to chamberkeepers.com, you can schedule a call and we'll walk through where your pain points are, whether or not we can work with you on it, which I haven't found one we can't yet. We do a QuickBooks Online diagnostics, and that's basically just to say, okay, where are you in your bookkeeping? And, is it up to date? How many transactions you have? Because that's how we do our pricing. And then we'll send you a proposal. And then telling you, because we bill by monthly, we don't do hourly fees. That's why we look at your QuickBooks to see your volume of transactions, so we can pretty much gauge. We know how long it takes us to do it. We'll send you an engagement letter, and that engagement letter is extremely detailed as to how many bank accounts, the names of the bank accounts, who's responsible for what, and when we need certain things from you to be able to do our work. And then we have an onboarding call, and that's when we set you up on our CRM system, because all of your reports will go to our CRM system so that you have the security. We don't like to email them. So we upload them in our CRM system. And if we have questions about transactions, that's all in the CRM system. And we just send it to you, and you'll get a little notice saying, hey, we need help with this transaction. Was this for an event? Was this office supplies? And you can answer it. And that keeps us kind of up to date throughout the month. So when it's time to give your board reports, we already kind of have those questions answered. And it's really good because we don't have to keep calling you. You'll get the notification in the CRM system. We also try to get read-only access to the banks. We don't want any access to your financial institutions where we can actually do transactions, but we ask for read-only just so we can pull the statements ourselves. You are way too busy to sit there and go through, especially if you have a lot of accounts, and pull every single statement and send them to me. We can go in there, we can pull the statement, we can see what checks you deposited with most banks. We can see what checks you wrote and cleared, because when it comes through QuickBooks, it just says deposit. It won't say an online, it won't give us a picture of the check that you deposited. So we can see what checks have been deposited, and it's less questions we have to ask of you. And that's pretty much it. We'll sit there and decide what's the best time to give you your reports, and when your board meetings are, and when you need them, if that's something you choose to do with us. And that's pretty much it.
Very good. So, a couple of questions, Brandy. And then Monica, if you have any, certainly. But um, you mentioned QuickBooks Online, and you and I have had this conversation. I'm old school and old, um, and have always worked with QuickBooks Desktop.
Mhm.
Understand the reason behind, you all obviously having to work with QuickBooks Online. Do you help in that transition if you have someone that needs to transition from desktop to Quick Online?
It's one of the things we look at to see if it's better for us to do it. We always recommend you do that at the end, well, the first of the year. So if you do it January 1, you still have your desktop to go and file all the year-end stuff you need. And we have a few months to make sure your QuickBooks Online, which it doesn't take a few months, but if your QuickBooks Online desktop is not good and it transfers over to online, we've got to fix all that. We try to make sure that's all done before we map you over. But so it's a case by case basis on if we can help. Sometimes we'll have to get the CPA to do it, just because if there's stuff hanging out there, they are the best ones who know your history to go and fix it before we move it over. So we do recommend kind of doing that at the beginning of the year so you're not holding up your year end stuff and we
Mhm.
can move forward with what you need for the beginning of the year.
You mentioned, do you all provide any accounts payable services?
So for accounts payable, a lot of what we do is you'll submit an invoice that needs to be paid by check. And we set it up to where we do everything in QuickBooks Online, and all someone has to do that you trust in your office is go in and hit the button and print a check, and they sign it. But most people who pay invoices by credit cards, that's someone in-house. I mean, we can always look at it if that's something that needs to be done. But we do ask for those receipts and stuff that do come through credit cards just so we can make sure they're how to code them and stuff. But so we do some accounts payable, but most of it is you're in control of it.
Okay. And obviously, with your familiarity with Chambers, a lot of our organizations use a CRM themselves.
Mhm.
So they may invoice, I'll just use the one, they may invoice through Growth Zone and that connect. How familiar are you with all those different CRMs, particularly Chamber Masters and Growth Zone is probably the two largest?
We're extremely familiar with Chambermaster. Chambermaster doesn't really connect to QuickBooks Online very well. So we'll go in and download all of your invoice, well, not your invoices, because we don't really put accounts receivable in QuickBooks Online, but we'll download all your payments for that month and we'll put them in QuickBooks Online for you. And it is detailed. It's just as detailed as what you get in Chambermaster. It will have the invoice number, how it was paid, when it was paid, and it will match that deposit from Chambermaster. We also help you kind of set up your chart of accounts in the background for Chambermaster. So when you are running your reports
Yeah.
in Chambermaster, you have a better idea. Because I think that's our biggest complaint right now is, well, none of these reports really make sense. They don't match what's going into QuickBooks, but it really just depends on how you invoice. And that's one of the things we look at if we can even get Chambermaster to work like it does in QuickBooks. Because if you're not invoicing one for one, it kind of it's hard to get those reports to do that. Now,
Yeah.
Gross Zone, from what I hear, we don't have a client yet that's on Gross Zone. We're waiting. We can't wait. But from what I understand, Growth Zone matches one for one into QuickBooks Online and it automatically syncs in there. Whereas
Yeah.
Chambermaster will just do that lump sum of the deposit, which is does nothing for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we're working with Chamber Nation also. We're probably going to start testing his. We think he's a really good system for smaller chambers too. So we're probably gonna start testing that one out to see if that's something we don't want to recommend anything we haven't used, you know, so.
And just, I don't know if you've heard Chambermate is
Mhm.
another that we're seeing some folks looking at. Um, hey, you have a number of clients all over, outside of Texas and all over. Do you find kind of a sweet spot for you as far as chamber size, or we hear a lot, well, I'm afraid I'm too small, or you know, do you work with the larger chambers? So
We're majority of them are between 500 members and 1,000 members. That seems to be the area that needs us the most. We do have one bigger one that we just do transactions and reconcile, and they take everything over. They have an accountant on staff, and they just don't want to do the day-to-day stuff. And we do have a few smaller ones. I think our smallest one has about 250, 300 members. So we'll try to work with everyone to get them, even if it's not something we can do, we'll kind of guide you to make it easier for you. Because some of the smaller ones really don't need us every month. They probably do it once a quarter.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they don't have board meetings every month. So
yeah. That's great. And I love the fact that you guys are so in tune with the chamber industry to kind of understand the nuance of every chamber is different. You see, if you've seen one, you've seen one, um, and really customizing what you guys can offer.
Yes. It's kind of like y'all all have the same need. Y'all just go at it at a different way. And we love that because it keeps it interesting for us, but the background of it for us is kind of the same. So that's what makes it really great for us because y'all have the same language.
Yeah, and that's true. That is absolutely true. And I'll tell you, just kind of reiterating something that you said earlier, and I get this a lot of people saying, "Oh my gosh, but our books are a mess," or we've had a volunteer that was doing it, or there's some transition. So I love the fact that you started off with QuickBooks cleanup or cleaning up that because I think that people are sometimes afraid to even ask for help when they feel like it's beyond help. So,
No, nothing's beyond help. Like I said, the messier the better. I mean, it's kind of what I did in my career was I would go to the districts that were really struggling and we would help them. Okay, this is the paperwork you need. You have people, two and three people doing the same job. And so we try to streamline a lot of that for everyone. And once you start getting their books and asking questions, it kind of just automatically happens, those processes. So when you start asking for a receipt, well, I don't know who has the receipt. And then it's kind of like, okay, everybody needs to put their receipts in this basket, write the event on it, and the admin will do it, or the whoever will do it. So
yeah,
it kind of just goes that way when you start asking the questions.
yeah. And it is, I mean, and you and I have had this conversation. I think I'm an account like I should have been an accountant. I love
Yes, you should.
I know. That sounds weird, but maybe that's my next lifetime. But it's all process, right? And it's
Mhm.
getting those processes in place and then getting people to stick to them. So
And I know it's kind of sounds mundane and boring, especially the chamber personality, because I think that's why I love the chamber so much. They're so opposite of me that I'm really an introvert and shy, and chamber people are out there, and I just love everybody's personality because of that. And I know it sounds boring to have a process, but when you start getting those processes in place and you know every Friday, it actually makes your life much easier.
mhm.
Once you start, you have the deadline, you know where you need to put this paperwork, you know when it's due. And then when we have the CRM system asking you questions that we don't necessarily know, and you could kind of answer that on the run, that also makes it easier because that is the biggest thing with the chambers. Y'all are on it, you don't have the employees and you have so many events. And I mean, if you're not at an event, you're doing something with legislation, so we try to streamline it for that reason right there, because y'all, I mean, y'all are busy.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the term the streamline. That's yeah.
Yeah.
Um well I appreciate you. I appreciate the work that you're doing with chambers, and really meeting each chamber where they are,
Mhm.
regardless of size or regardless of history or regardless of uh, the process in place. And I think just in the little bit that I've gotten to know you, I think probably the dirtier the better. That you're going to dig in and that's going to be your challenge to meet.
Yeah. And
Um,
I usually do that. I usually take it on, one, because I like getting to know the chambers and I like doing that part of it. I mean, everybody has a different personality. We have people who are like, I don't want the project. I just want to do the same thing every month. So once we have processes in place and everything's kind of working, then somebody else wants, there are managers, they manage it,
right. Yeah.
So it works for all of us.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, Monica, do you have any question or anything? No, you're muted. Oh, we're all of the same age now, where we've got
Yeah.
to put our glasses on to see.
Yes.
There we go. I was just a clicking and it was not wanting to cooperate. Maybe it's my mouse is needing a charge. But no, I don't have any questions because she answered some of the things and you had already asked a few questions, so
Okay. Well,
that
good.
she answered.
Very good. Well, I know that you are in the beautiful state of Texas at a chamber conference, which is even, I mean, come on. That was meant to be. So, Brandy, you know that we appreciate you, and as I mentioned, we really look forward to seeing you guys in September in Daphne. Um,
Y'all are some of our favorite people, which I've told you that. I mean,
well,
y'all, we just adore. Everybody is so kind and polite. I mean, we really enjoyed our time when we were there last year, and we're looking forward to it this year.
good. We're looking forward to having you guys back with us. And you and I are going to talk about a few things that we may want you to do for us in Daphne. But thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for recognizing our chambers and the work that they're doing and really offering a service and a product that is just meant to help make make our lives easier and really let us get out and do the work within the community. So, thank you for that. We're gonna put this out. Carla's gonna get it ready and then put it out to our membership. I've actually got a few chambers that I'm gonna send it to directly that I've been working with on. Y'all got to clean this up. So thank you again, and I hope that you have a great day in Texas, and we will see you in September.
Okay, great. Thank y'all
All
so much
right.
for the
Thank
opportunity.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.